Dementia patient says, you know, this is a great day, it's 1976 and I love this year, and it goes on and on. Years ago in nursing school they used to tell us, always bring the patient back to reality. It's important. Well, now it's just the opposite. There isn't any reason you have to force that patient back into reality. You can gently bring the person back into reality by saying, yeah, 1976 was a great year, but now in 2017, this is how they do it. But if that agitates the person, don't go there. Let them think they're in 1976. It's not going to hurt anybody. They're going to stay calm. They're remembering a time in their life when they can actually remember, and it calms them down. And I'll tell you a really quick story on that. We had a woman who somebody picked up this woman down on Quincy Shore Drive, walking in the winter, in a nightgown and slippers and just a little jacket and a purse. She didn't know where she lived. She didn't know where she belonged. They took her down here. Rather than call the police, they took her down here. So myself and Linda Bowles from the Council on Aging sat with her, and I said, you know, do you have any relatives? Do you know your name? She knew her first name. She didn't know her last name. She handed me her pocketbook and she said, I have some phone numbers in here. So Linda was going through trying to find a relative, found her daughter's number and called the daughter. The daughter was quite a ways away in Boston or something. And so we had to keep this woman with us for a short period of time. So I told her I was a nurse, and she said, oh, I'm a nurse too. And I said, really? Now, I don't know if she is or she isn't. And she told me this long story about being a nurse, and she lived on one of the Caribbean islands. And way back when she was a young girl, she was 80-something years old, when she was a young girl, the Queen of England would take the girls from the Caribbean islands and take them to England and train them as nurses, as long as they stayed there for 2 years and worked in one of their hospitals, and the training would be free. And then she started to cry, and she said, and I remember getting on that plane, I was only 16 years old, and my mother, is the first time I've been away from my mother, and I never saw my mother again for many years, and how awful it was, and I was so afraid. And then she talked, and she was very calm telling the story. So I just went along with her and said, oh, that's very interesting, and you know, where did you work in England? And she had all the details. The daughter came, and I said to the daughter, oh, she told me she was a nurse. She goes, oh, yeah, she was a nurse. Everything she told me was true. She couldn't remember where she lived. She couldn't remember her last name. She remembered when she was 16 years old, getting on a plane like it was yesterday with the tears coming down. So let them talk about things that they remember, because it becomes so calming to them, because they know that they're remembering that, okay? And if I could figure out how to avoid stress, I'd be rich, so I can't tell you that. The other thing is remind them that you're there to help. And when we did this with police and fire and ambulance, this is a big deal. Uniforms sometimes don't mean anything to them. So a policeman comes in, a fireman comes in, they may not recognize them as someone who's helping them. They have to keep reminding them, I'm a police officer, I'm here to help you. I'm the fire department, I'm here to help you. So the uniforms sometimes don't mean anything, or may bring back a bad memory, PTSD that some people might have. They see a uniform, they think of a war. Or people that have been in jail or had issues with the law years ago see a policeman and have a different connotation. So don't just think that they automatically know that you're there to help them or someone in a uniform is there to help them. They may get very agitated. You have to take it slow. You have to keep reminding them, I'm here to help you, you know, come with me or whatever, or lead them.